Welcome back to another episode of the season's how-to tutorial series. Today we're going to talk about the MT9 hand tool and basically what it does, how you can use it, and probably show off some features that you guys may have not known exist on the hand tool. So first, let's talk about where to get the hand tool. So we go up to our shop, we go to Tools, and then Miscellaneous. Scroll on over here, and we have the MT9 hand tool for $5,000. We just purchased that by double-clicking on it. Of course, I've already owned it. And once you get it, you activate it the same way you would activate the chainsaw. The default key binding for that is to use the scroll wheel. There you go. And then if you had multiple hand tools, you would just scroll through them in order to pull up the one you desire. 1 and 2 on the keyboard also will cycle through the hand tools, also if you have that set up. Of course, we've demonstrated this in past videos. The way you use it is you point it at whatever you want to measure, click on it, and you get some information. So for ground measuring, you get the coordinates that you are looking at. Those are the map coordinates. You get the elevation in feet for my settings. Get the fill type, in this respect, grass. Get growth indication. We're at 100% growth. Get crop moisture, and you get ground moisture. Go over here and we measure our wheat field, for example. We'll see that we have wheat. It is 100% grown, 13% crop moisture, 100% fertilized, and 7% ground moisture. So we know that this field is ready to harvest. Let's go over here and check out our soybean field. See, our soybeans are at 83% growth. They are not quite ready to harvest. Again, 13% crop moisture, 100% fertilized, and 7% ground moisture. Then our corn. Same general stats. Go over here to our fallow land. You see, we're just going to get information related to fertilization and ground moisture. Now, what else can you measure? Well, we can come over here, and we can actually measure chicken boxes. So we've got a pile of chicken boxes here. No idea how much is in each one. Now we can measure. That one's got 45 units. This one has 150 units. We can see how full this one is here. Ground. There we go. 61 units. Now let's go show you some other cool things that you probably didn't realize that you could measure with the hand tool. I know I've got seed in here, but I don't remember how much I have left. Oh, I've got 604 liters of seed in my seeder. What about fertilizer? See a little bit of fertilizer in there. I wonder how much is left. 566 liters of fertilizer. Does the trailer have anything in it? No. The trailer does not have anything in it. Now, I'm pretty sure I left something in this baler. Let's see. Indeed, I have a bale of hay, 2,056 liters. That is pretty slick. So, let's talk about this ground moisture, crop moisture deal that we can measure with seasons. So, go to our seasons menu. Of course, we have planting and harvesting. Then we have our drought and frost resistance. Now, notice down here the potential for drought damage increases when the soil water content is below 12%. So, as we were measuring, we have a ground moisture of 7%. well below that threshold of 12%. If we were to plant crop now, we are in planting season for several of our cereal crops here: wheat, barley, oat, and also our canola we could plant right now. If we planted that now with a ground moisture of 7%, you'll see that barley, wheat, and oat and canola have no drought resistance as a seed. So we could expect an increased chance of failed germination if we plant those crops right now with that low ground moisture. See the other things like soybeans, sunflowers, and corn, they have a low drought resistance, but they do have a somewhat of a drought resistance. And we can see over here, once these plants mature, some of these plants have a medium resistance and some actually have a high resistance to drought, like cotton. Here we take a look at frost. Now that we are moving into the cooler temperatures, we have the risk of frost occurring at any point in time. See that frost, these plants over here at a mature state have no frost resistance. So if we get a decent frost, we could see a fair bit of crop get lost as a result of frost. Now, as a young plant, you'll see that wheat, barley, and oat have a high resistance to frost, which is pretty good, given the fact that you are able to plant those in autumn, and then they would have to survive winter and then come back into spring as a living plant. Now let's go check out some other things that we can obviously measure, or not so obviously measure, with our hand tool. How about this? I wonder how much fuel is in this thing. Oh, 283 liters of fuel. Let's get in it. Well, we can't see without some additional mods, but there we go. Now we know how much fuel is in our vehicles. Let's run down here. Already demonstrated that we can measure the contents of a bale, but we'll go ahead and do that again. So you see this is a 4,000 liter hay bale. See, this is a 3,990 liter silage bale. And we can see that this particular silage bale, well, it's actually wrapped grass. It has 6 more hours to go before it is fermented into silage. So that's rather convenient because, of course, we wrap these at different times of the day. This one has 3 hours to go before it is technically silage. And that one's good to go. It is silage already. So, if you are questioning if you've got a silage bale or not, you can always just use the hand tool to detect if you have a silage bale or if you still have a grass bale that is still working on fermenting. Because again, it takes one full seasonal transition worth of time to ferment to silage. Now that's not saying that if you wrap a silage bale on the last day of a transition, the next day it will be silage. That is saying that if you're playing 6-day seasons, it is going to take a full 48 game hours, 2 full game days, for that bale to ferment. Playing 12-day seasons, it's going to take 4 full game days for that bale to ferment. From the time you wrap it till the time that it is silage. It is not based at midnight. It is basically the clock starts ticking the instant it is wrapped in minutes. So it's going to take exactly 4 days from when you wrapped it to when it turns into silage. Now, we can also measure pallets, like this one. Wool pallet has 1,000 liters. This wool pallet only has 57 units. Jump back here to the farm. You can measure seed pallets. pallet of seed has 246 liters. 833, and then this one should be full at 1,000 liters. So guys, there you go. That is kind of the gist of the MT9 hand tool and what you can use and what you can measure with the hand tool. So if you don't have it, go out and buy it. It is very useful with respect to understanding ground moisture and crop moisture. Another important aspect, which we demonstrated during the grass drying video, is understanding the moisture of your grass before you cut it. Over here, measure our grass and see that we are at 13%. So we know that if we cut this grass, if it was cuttable, it's still in its first stage growth at 33%, so we won't be able to cut it at the moment. But if we were able to cut this grass, we would know that it would come out as semi-dry grass, and we would be able to let it naturally dry into hay. If this was above 20% grass moisture, we know that if we cut it, it would come out as wet grass and would need to be tedded to achieve semi-dry grass state and then achieve the natural status of drying into hay that way. So the MT9 hand tool is very useful, very helpful, well worth the $5,000 that it costs. If you guys have any other questions about seasons, let me know in the comments. I will basically try to put together a video based on the common trends and questions that are going on out there. And until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.